Freak Nation, is your bracket busted? Moving into the Sweet 16, baby. Coming up this hour, Alexis DeJoria, NHRA Funny Car Badass. She will be here in the Freak Nation, the only female running in the funny car class in the NHRA. We'll also hear from John Hunter Nemechek, the baby boy of Front Row Joe Nemechek. Joe Nemechek was so good to us early on at SpeedFreaks. We would have these parties prior to California Speedway Crasher.
Yep.
And we would have truck drivers show up, Xfinity Series driver, and lo and behold, bam, it would walk Joe Nemechek, be a part of the Freak Nation pre-race parties and sign autographs for freaking days. So it's good to get his son, John Hunter Nemechek, the first time in the Freak Nation. He'll be joining us here within the hour, Freak Nation. Did you miss Kyle Larson last hour? Kyle Larson spent a good 10, 15 minutes with us here in the Freak Nation. We'll have that up on our YouTube page at Official Speed Freaks and at speedfreaks.tv. We didn't touch on it at all the first hour. IndyCar was at Thermal, a gentleman's club.
There we go. I'm not a huge fan of Thermal either, but just go. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine, because I just want to see you dig the hole deeper for why you think this was a great place to put in. Oh, okay.
I never said I thought it was a great place, because any place that only allows 5,000 people is not a track that I feel necessarily that comfortable at as a fan. It is a billionaires club, and you're basically having IndyCar drivers, professional drivers, racing on this play track for billionaires. Granted, they did soup it up enough to make it not necessarily, I don't know what specs they had to use to make this the exhibition event that they had last year in 2024, but they did make some changes. Now there's talk of making changes again if, and yes, the word if was used, Thermal is to come back in 2026. The executives with IndyCar met with the owners and the group at Thermal, and it was an if this racetrack comes back next year, changes need to be made. Number one, you need to make room for more than 5,000 people. So that would mean taking away some of the parts of the opening part of the track that don't allow for seats. You need just take that out and use a different part of the track that's not being used right now. Will allow for more fan engagement, and it will allow for, oh, dare I say, higher speeds, faster corners. Let's get to 180. Please. That's what IndyCar is all about. Again, it's an if.
Wow. I can go so many different directions with that comment there, Crasher. But this, you know what this reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of, I think they're just called the Athletics now. They're no longer Oakland, or they're not Vegas yet. They're just the Athletics, right? They're playing in Sacramento. Is that where they're? Is that where they're? Okay,
correct.
And it's going to be where the Rays are going for next season. We'll be playing at freaking George Steinbrenner Stadium,
Correct.
Where you have 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 seats at these freaking AAA ballparks. It's like, why do you do this to fans? Why do you limit? You're trying to build a fan base, but we're sticking a big billionaire middle finger to our fan base saying we only want 5,000 people to come here and watch this freaking race. And what were the tickets?
$495 a piece.
This just screams elitism. And in a time when IndyCar needs all the help that they can get, it's still beyond me that they're even discussing something. There's something going on. There's got to be several of these billionaire owners that have freaking Penske stock. There's something going on. Right? Don't laugh, right?
No, you might be onto something.
There's something going on here for them to have a race in front of a limited crowd. Granted, it's not necessarily about the crowd unless it's the 500. It's about the ratings. It's about the race. But, okay, let's look at the race. It was a follow the leader until Alex Palou benefited from their tire strategy, right, Crash?
Yep, saved their sticker reds, their sticker alternates for the end, and boom, literally drove away with it with better grip on the last 15, 20 laps.
I mean, the worst thing that could happen for IndyCar, Freak Nation, is for their broadcast that's on Big Boy Fox to go awry and for Fox to put a NASCAR race in the slot of the IndyCar race, right? That'd be the worst thing that could happen.
That's what happened.
And that would never happen, right?
That's what happened Sunday.
What happened?
Yes.
What happened now?
Allegedly, a circuit breaker was tripped. Yeah, breaker was tripped. Was it the heat? Some people claim it was the heat. Others are saying not so fast. These are two brand spanking new production trucks that IMS Productions, yes, that's the IndyCar Productions, not Fox, IMS Productions bought in the offseason. Some people in IndyCar, maybe it's the teams, at least kind of what I'm hearing, it's teams, because their sponsors are on their backs going, we're not getting what we paid for. Come on. First race, you cover up our sponsors on the aero screen. Second race, you go to a blackout because a circuit is tripped, and then you put on NASCAR instead of what we're paying for, which is IndyCar. What's going on here? These brand new trucks had an electrical issue? Really? In 90-degree heat at thermal. You didn't know that
Your name is Thermal. Your name is freaking Thermal.
Yeah. You didn't know that Palm Springs was going to be 90 degrees at the end of March? No, you knew. You knew. You just, either your new trucks, you claim these are brand new trucks, either those trucks really had an issue or you didn't plan appropriately. Nathan Brown was reporting today that, Nathan Brown with the Indianapolis Star, that we all know that the booth was only put together 9 months ago. This Fox IndyCar announcement was made 9 months ago. 2 months ago is when the booth was confirmed. And then the week of St. Pete was when the pit reporters were confirmed, which, by the way, only a couple of weeks prior to that was when all the technical guys that were going to work with IMS Productions and Fox were officially put together. So there are some people in the paddock now that are saying, guys, why, when you made your announcement 9 months ago, why has all this last-minute effort been coming together and given us glitches at both St. Pete and Thermal? Why? Questions need to be answered.
That's so bad that for a sport that we were all excited for this brand new TV deal going to Fox, the viewership hopefully increasing because of all the broadcast races, that we're not talking about the racing. We're not.
Right.
We are not talking about the racing. We are not talking about the drivers. We are not talking about how great Alex Palou is.
Right.
He's won 2 consecutive races. I posited this now that he's proving himself to be one of the best drivers in the entire world at this point. And we're not talking about that. Mm-hmm. No. Instead, we're talking about Fox constantly screwing up. Whether that is actually Fox Sports or whether that is, like I said, IndyCar Productions crash, I'm not really 100% sure. But I go back to qualifying. I was watching qualifying, and a lot of other people brought this up too. Bro, how hard is it to include sector times? Sector times. How far above or below the cut line are these guys on their flying laps? We got none of that.
But that's part of a broadcast, right?
Yes.
You got 0?
It should. It's easy to do. NBC did it, and NBC did a great job with it. Formula One does it. They're great with it. NASCAR does it all the time too. But nope, not IndyCar on Fox. Got none of that.
We did it over the weekend with a freaking 10, 11-year-old freaking soccer tournament. We could see where they were moving with the goals that were scored. Yet we can't get that with IndyCar? What the hell is that about? Sorry, Richie.
No. That's my thing. It's like, that's what we're talking about right now instead of actually talking about the product. And that is not good. And it's really unfortunate because you guys know this. I love IndyCar. I love the product. It's better than Formula One, and you know how much I love Formula One now. not anymore. It breaks my heart now. But anyway, yeah, like that. We're talking about all this technical crap and BS instead of actually talking about the product on the racetrack, and that is not good for the sport whatsoever.
And it also, I mean, the fan base is kind of, they don't know the inside baseball parts of what's going on at IndyCar, IMS Productions, and Fox. Right. So the fan base is like, is this Fox's fault? Is this IndyCar's fault? So yeah, there's a lot of egg that is on actually both their faces right now, but it really should only be on one or the other. And I don't know if we're ever going to get down to the true story of what is going on, who's making what decisions. We loved Fox's promotion preseason. But anything else, yeah, even our cat is upset right now. I'm sure you heard that as well. But anything else that's going on, who's making the decisions? Where are the decisions where are they coming from?
Man, we've only got about a minute and a half here. We got a break. We got Alexis DeJoria coming up in about 6 minutes. But Crasher, you go back to the split, the kart and IndyCar, and they opened up that gap, and freaking NASCAR pulled through, and
1996.
Haven't looked back since. And for freaking IndyCar to have this failure, I just see somebody going to the side of the wall, looking at the camera and unplugging, going, "Unplugging the crew. I'm a NASCAR fan."
Stop
I
it.
do. I just see it. But for for them to air NASCAR in their spot is just like, die, out of here again.
It was a dagger to the throat.
Just brutal.
Yeah.
Damn it. We're such fans of open wheel.
But the issues just keep coming.
Boy. Freak Nation, she is a freaking badass, and she's becoming in the Freak Nation for the last 15 years. In fact, she got her first NHRA Funny Car win here in Phoenix after our lovely 11-year-old daughter pooped on Crasher's shirt because the funny car scared her so much. She was 2 months old.
The warm-up of the funny car.
Alexis DeJoria joins us next. Poop and all. SpeedFreaks Pits, Lucas Oil